right, welcome back to another interview series for the UNLV Jazz and Commercial Music Department. And we are going to be talking to some of the members of the UNLV Latin Jazz Ensemble. We have our director, Uli Geissendoerfer. We have our vocalist of that ensemble, Katherine Richards, and Peter Goomroyan, a jazz violinist. So thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's beautiful to be here. Actually, we are all in our separate spaces, but it's beautiful to be with you online.
Quick little intro to the Latin Jazz Ensemble. It started in 2010. They are a 4-time Downbeat Award-winning ensemble. They won in 2013, 14, and 15. They took first place in 2015, and that was the first downbeat to be awarded to the UNLV. Uli, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm originally from Munich, Germany. I've been living in the States for some 33 years now. I'm a pianist and composer and arranger and all kinds of things. I've been at UNLV since 2010. I came originally to Las Vegas to be the musical director with a show called Viva Elvis from Cirque du Soleil. Then I got sort of roped into UNLV and other things. I started the Dispensary Lounge, the jazz series there. And that's going, well, it's not going strong right now, but it was going strong until March 15th. And that was over 8 years, actually. I teach also at the Nevada School for the Arts, at the jazz program. Founded a couple years ago Vegas Records, where Dorian Dream was released now, and which was actually the intent of having that label to promote local upcoming jazz artists from Vegas. Yeah, so that's me. I have several albums out. I have 7 out. It runs the gamut from solo, free piano improvisation to very orchestrated medium and larger ensembles, trio. My last album was a trio album. And I like to do lots of different kinds of music, and but my love for Latin music, it was sort of got me to UNLV because a long time ago, in '94, I studied for a little bit in Cuba. I was able to be with Maestro Chucho Valdez, and I later became his assistant too at the Afro-Cubanismo in Banff a couple years later. And those were pivotal points in my life. For me, there's a before and after Cuba. To see the music, to feel the music, to hear, to see the dancers, to eat the food, to smell the air, to listen to the language. It all just transformed my life quite amazingly. Although I had seen Irakere, I think way back in '86 in Munich, when the first time I heard them, they were just on tour. Actually, they just recorded that album Missa Negra, which in Germany, I think, and afterwards were on tour. And a friend of mine hit me to it, said, "You got to check out this band." And I went there, and it was like, a train just ran over me. I did not understand what was going on, but I knew that was amazing. So eventually I went to the US to study jazz, and now I'm in Vegas and directing the Latin Ensemble, and it's been a joy since 2010. There was so many amazing musicians that have been part of it already. That now have a career of their own. Actually, we have 3 of them that teach now at UNLV, that used to be members of it. Carlos Mata Alvarez, Julian Tanaka, Jorge Machen, great drummers, Austin Pooley, and others went through, Angelo Stokes, Michael Huffman, and it runs on.
Can you tell us a little bit how the ensemble is run, rehearsal-wise, and just how you pick your tunes for the ensemble?
Well, when I started the ensemble, there was no repertoire. So I ended up writing most of the stuff myself, just coming in with tunes. And I always saw it more as opposed to a big band where you come in and you rehearse the notes and make the most out of that, I felt it was more like a workshop. So we go in, I bring arrangements or the students that wrote more and more and more, and some of the great writers now, like Carlos wrote his first arrangement ever for Latin Ensemble, and so did some other people. And we bring him in, and then I workshop them. We change the form, we put other things, and we work on the solos. So it becomes a really organic way of developing the music. So I'm more interested that everyone has a part in the music, because everyone can bring in their ideas and make it their own music. That's what's more important for me. Is I want to have an ensemble where everybody feels musically at home. You go in there and you understand what it is. So, though sometimes, that might be a process that takes longer than if you just would play an arrangement down. But I think it makes it ultimately more stimulating for everyone involved, and that's arguably what won us the awards too. Is the original arrangements, the original approaches we had to tunes.
So let's turn it over to our instrumentalists in the group. And ladies first, let's talk to Miss Katherine Richards, a beautiful vocalist and composer and arranger. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Where are you from, your degree, things like that?
I am from Silver Spring, Maryland, originally, right outside of the DC area. But I've been here for 4 years. This is my 4th year at UNLV, and I am a jazz and commercial music major, and I have a concentration in vocal performance. I actually started out singing 8 years ago as an opera singer. So that's been sort of a transition as well. Because throughout high school, I took private lessons and I competed a lot, like nationally, for opera. So I wasn't really exposed to jazz until around 2016, I believe, where I auditioned for this local high school jazz collective. And it's really funny how Uli mentioned Cuba as well, because that was like my first run-in with jazz, is that I auditioned for this group and we got to go to Cuba together and perform in a jazz festival. And that was really the first time that I had sung jazz like publicly and really like immersed myself in it. So that was kind of the start of my passion for jazz, and I haven't turned back since. I really found an appreciation for Latin jazz that I didn't know that I had.
And you've written some really cool tunes for the Latin Ensemble. Let's talk about the tune that you played on. So what was your approach for singing on your tune on this album?
Well, it's originally done by my vocal teacher at UNLV, Joe Bellianelli, who's absolutely amazing, tremendous vocalist, and was a wonderful mentor for me. She used to do Brazilian Dorian Dream back in Chicago with her group. And she said one day this melodically is like really up your alley. Because I like really like melodically challenging stuff that I can really like sink my teeth into as a vocalist. So rhythmically and melodically is just insane to learn and like get under my belt. So she handed me this tune, and I didn't really do much arranging to it, honestly. It was more just like a workshop form, as Uli mentioned before, kind of getting the tune together with the band, and it was a really fun experience as well. But it was mainly my approach was just kind of feeling there's no words to it, so it's just like really getting into the groove of it and feeling where the groove is, and just having fun with it as well. It's a really fun melody to sing, super challenging, but once I got it, it was just super fun to do all the time.
The UNLV Jazz Department is driven mostly by student compositions. but it's also very active when it comes to performing. And I just want to know, what other ensembles are you a part of at UNLV?
Right now, I'm only a part of the Latin Jazz Ensemble. I used to do the vocal jazz ensemble. Um, that was a very good experience, and just like getting to know other vocalists and exploring vocal music in a choir form. I have a lot of experience with singing in choirs, mostly classical choirs. So doing jazz choir was such like a fun, like loose experience, from coming from that like stricter like choir background. So I always had fun with that, and learned new standards that I didn't know, and met a lot of people and performed with my peers. And also, it's just like these groups from the program just kind of stem off, like with your group rudiments. Like I've had so much fun performing with you guys, and we've had a lot of good opportunities, just to like have fun. And so I thank you guys for letting me, kind of feature on some of your stuff as well. Like it's been so fun just getting to know everyone, and yeah, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
you're also part of Vegas 22.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, that's Patrick Hogan's group, for um, the smaller rep class. So that's been insane as well. That's his arrangements are so fun and lively, and the ballads are beautiful. That's one that I really learned a different style to the Latin jazz that I was used to. Um, in the style of Sergio Mendes, there's this sound that it's really fun trying to achieve that sound and achieving it with everyone. So
So, Peter, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
My name is Peter. This is my 5th year at UNLV. I'm a jazz performance major. I play in the Latin and contemporary ensembles for school. I grew up in a musical family, and I was classically trained since the age of like 3 or 4, and I made the switch to jazz when I was about like 16, 17. And everything from there is just kind of history. So I mean, yeah, not much to it, I guess, right?
Why don't you tell
Yeah.
us about your experience being a jazz violinist in this jazz department?
I don't know how to really explain it because it is what it is. Like I'm really lucky uh, to be to feel like I'm not treated any differently than any any other musician here. I feel like just because my instrument is odd doesn't mean I'm not taken as seriously. I still get to do a lot of really cool projects with people at school and in my own time, and I learn the same things just as everyone else is learning, so
Mm-hmm. With you being in the Latin Jazz Ensemble, how has that shaped you as a musician and composer arranger?
I loved being in a Latin ensemble. Like, I mean, I've been doing it since I was my freshman year here. It was like the first group that I joined. It's provided me with a lot of opportunities to create growth for myself as a person and as a musician. I've created a lot of really strong bonds through mentorships and people. I've learned a lot from like my peers, just as much as from Uli. It's just been a really good overall experience. And my freshman year I came here, I had only been studying jazz for about 2-3 years beforehand, and I kind of got thrown in the fire. And ironically, in the bigger picture of things, I think that was like the best thing for me, to just kind of get thrown into a situation where I was forced to learn really quickly. And I think that really helped my chops and my thinking and myself as a musician. So yeah, I've overall really enjoyed the experience. And unfortunately, this is my last semester and last year being in Latin ensemble, but I will always hold on to everything that I've kind of learned from everything. So
And you are also in a lot of different ensembles as well here at UNLV.
Yeah, I do the contemporary ensemble as well because I definitely wanted to stretch my chops just past like Latin music, and I have a huge love. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a big jazz head. I have a huge love for modern contemporary like post-bop jazz. So I really wanted to be doing something in an environment that I felt was conducive to that learning, and contemporary has really provided me with that outlet for arranging and for playing purposes too. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, on this lovely Las Vegas morning, and talking about the UNLV Latin Jazz Ensemble and just the jazz department in general. Thank you, Katherine Richards, vocalist, composer, arranger, Peter Goomroyan, jazz violinist, composer, and arranger, and our one and only, our fearless director, Uli Geissendoerfer, pianist, director, composer, arranger, owner of the Vegas Records as well.
sorcerer, wizard extraordinaire, hailing from Germany.
So thank you, and I'm looking forward to much more great music.
Thank you so much, Uli. And make sure to check out Dorian Dream. Where can we find it, Uli?
You can find it on Bandcamp on Vegas Records. Just go Bandcamp Vegas Records, and you'll find it there. It's the first album. It's the latest one that we released. Mm-hmm. There's a few more coming next year. Yeah.
Thank you so much.